Social Pygmalion, how others' beliefs shape your results. Once you nail your own priming, this next part separates beginners from pros. Expectations multiply in social space. The reason is simple: humans mirror. We read each other's cues in milliseconds, then adjust effort, risk-taking, and self-concept to fit the perceived standard. If your boss expects you to ship rough drafts for feedback, you take earlier risks. If your partner expects you to always forget, you double-check less because the label stole your incentive. The thing most people miss is that other people's beliefs quietly edit your micro-behaviors before you notice. Let's break it down. 4 main sources shape your expectancy. The person with authority over outcomes, boss, teacher, coach. The person with proximity to your emotions, partner, close friend. Your peer group, the norm you copy. And your audience, the feedback you anticipate. Each source broadcasts standards and signals, clear or fuzzy. Clear standards reduce ambiguity, which lowers latency and increases persistence. Fuzzy standards create defensive behavior. You over-explain, hedge, and wait for permission. Here's how to make this work for you. Create expectation contracts. Not legalese, one-page conversations that agree on 3 things: the standard, the support, and the signal. You ask, what does excellent look like in behaviors, not vibes? Then, what will you provide so I can hit that? Constraints, resources, timely feedback. Finally, what signals will tell us we're on track or off? This resets the social loop from mind reading to measurable. Try this belief transfer script with a manager or client. I want to hold a high standard here. Can we define excellence as 3 visible behaviors for this project? For example, ship a draft every Friday, request 2 clarifications per week, and run a 5-minute post-review debrief. If I do those reliably, will you commit to a 24-hour response and concrete notes, not general impressions? Green signal is meeting the Friday draft and getting line edits. Red signal is 2 missed responses in a row, and I'll escalate or adjust scope. Notice what happened. You took initiative, set your identity as a process person, and asked for reciprocal expectancy, so your micro-behaviors get rewarded, not ignored. Now peers, your group's default becomes your ceiling or your floor. If your circle treats ghosting workouts as normal, you'll unconsciously extend your latency. If the norm is ugly reps count, you'll show up on bad days. You don't need to ditch friends, you need a standards lane. Propose a 30-minute weekly proof call with 1 peer who shares your domain. Agenda, evidence only, counts, latency, quality markers, no vibe spirals. This keeps social Pygmalion tilted toward action. At home, use consent-based standards. The trap is weaponized expectations. You always, or you should, that breeds reactance. Instead, here's a standard I want to run for myself: 2 tech-free dinners a week. If I miss, I'll do the dishes solo as a reset. Are you into co-own this, or would you prefer a different ritual? Consent keeps expectations supportive, not coercive. You also need protection from negative Pygmalion. 3 moves. First, label quarantine. When someone drops a limiting label, you're not detail-oriented. Translate it into a behavior request. Which detail did I miss and what checklist would solve it? Second, exposure control. Limit time with chronic doomers during execution windows. Debrief with them after the proof cycle, not before. Third, mentor selection. Pick proof-based mentors who review artifacts and ask about your process, not your personality. Micro story. Last week, a designer I coach kept getting make it pop feedback. That fuzzy expectation killed her confidence and led to endless revisions. We ran an expectation contract with the creative director. 3 behaviors, provide 2 visual comps by Wednesday, include rationale notes, and propose 1 A/B test. Green signal, selection by Friday. Red signal, no selection twice, schedule a calibration meeting. 2 weeks later, cycle times dropped and her initiative came back. The difference? Social expectations got converted into signals. Common mistakes to avoid. 1. Fishing for praise instead of standards. You get compliments but no map. 2. Accepting trait-based labels. Genius. Messy. They're unhelpful anchors. Convert traits to behaviors. 3. Overcorrecting by going lone wolf. Social loops still exist, you just lost influence over them. Quick win for this week. Pick one relationship that shapes your results. Book a 15-minute standards reset. Use this opener. I want to hit a higher bar and make your job easier. Can we define 3 behaviors that equal an A here and agree on when and how you'll signal green or red? I'll send a 1-page summary after. Then run one proof cycle under the new contract and debrief together using facts, friction, and fix. Do this right and others, expectations become accelerants, not anchors. Your environment starts feeding you the cues you need to move faster, recover quicker, and believe what you can prove. The anti-Pygmalion, nocebo, labels, and self-sabotage. Now the dark twin. Negative expectancy, nocebo, doesn't just feel bad, it quietly lowers your thresholds for effort, exploration, and pain tolerance. In medicine, negative expectations can increase pain and reduce treatment effectiveness. In everyday performance, they shrink your action set. If you believe reaching out annoys people, your tone dulls, your latency spikes, replies drop, and you read that as proof you should do even less. The loop runs backward. Expectation, right arrow, micro avoidances, right arrow, worse cues, hardened doubt. Where does negative expectancy come from? 4 main sources. 1. Self-talk shaped by past failures. You internalize a result and promote it to identity. I'm not a closer. 2. Authority labels, teachers, bosses, experts, whose words you treat as fate, not leadership material. 3. Chronic comparison, scrolling the outliers until your floor collapses. 4. Context repetition, environments that cue avoidance, like a cluttered desk recalling previous misses. None of these are destiny, they're inputs that trained your micro-behaviors. Here's the fix: label surgery. You're going to identify, deconstruct, and replace identity labels with behavior-bound identities that you can prove. Start with a scan. Write the 3 labels that show up under stress, what you mutter after a miss. Examples: I'm disorganized, I'm introverted, I'm bad at money. Now deconstruct each. Ask, what specific behaviors created that label? In which contexts? What exceptions exist? You'll find your always and never are actually sometimes in that setup. Then replace the label with a behavior identity tied to micro-actions. Instead of I'm disorganized, run I'm the person who closes loops before noon. That identity encodes a time window and a verb. Instead of I'm introverted, use I open with one genuine question in the first minute. Instead of I'm bad at money, try I run a 10-minute cash check on Fridays. You're not erasing temperament, you're claiming the behaviors that matter. To protect momentum, add floor-ceiling framing. Floors are non-negotiable minimums that prevent identity collapse on bad days. Ceilings are challenging maximums that stretch competence without triggering threat. Example for writing: floor is 1 ugly paragraph, ceiling is 600 focused words. For outreach, floor is 2 asks, ceiling is 20. Floors keep you active, ceilings keep you ambitious without boiling your nervous system. The reason this works is that behavior distributions train your expectation through consistency, not occasional heroics. Common mistake: identity whiplash. People jump from I procrastinate to I'm a machine, then crash when reality doesn't match the fantasy. The fix is stepping stone identities, tiny bridges that your behavior can cross in a week. Sequence them. Week 1, I start within 2 minutes using the 2-minute starter. Week 2, I ship 1 draft daily before noon. Week 3, I request 1 line edit per draft. Each identity is proven by evidence. Proof upgrades belief, not declarations. Let me show you how this looks in a tough domain: public speaking anxiety. Old label: I choke. Surgery: where did that come from? 1 messy presentation and years of avoiding reps. Exceptions: you explained a design to a teammate last month and it landed. Replacement identity: I open with 1 calibration question and 1 story beat. Floor ceiling: floor is 90 seconds at stand-up with opener. Ceiling is 5-minute share with 1 slide. Contingency: when my heart rate spikes, I read the opener from the card and keep eye contact for 2 beats. Run 5 small reps. Log latency, duration, and 1 audience cue. Watch expectancy lift as you bank proof. Another trap to avoid, treating negative labels as truth-telling. Realism doesn't mean self-injury. The useful form of realism is constraint-aware behavior planning. Say, mornings are chaotic with kids, so my writing floor moves to 1 p.m. and I pre-open the dock at 12:50. You acknowledged constraints without poisoning identity. Here's a quick win you can do today. Write 3 retire this label lines. I retire I'm disorganized. I retire I'm not technical. I retire I'm bad under pressure. Then write 1 replacement identity and install a proof ritual. I'm the person who closes loops before noon, proof. 10-minute inbox 0 sprint at 11:40. I'm the person who learns 1 command per day, proof. Terminal practice for 3 minutes after lunch. I'm the person who defaults to my opener under stress, proof. Card on desk. Rehearse once at 8:55. Put the lines where you execute on your keyboard inside your notebook or as the first line of your daily doc. Micro story. A founder I coach wore the label I'm bad at hiring. Translation, rushed interviews, vague scorecards and late offers. We did label surgery. Replacement identity. I run a 2-signal interview, work sample and reference pattern. Floor ceiling. Floor is 1 work sample per candidate. Ceiling is 3 references with the same 3 questions. Within 1 month, mishires dropped. Nothing magical. Negative expectancy stopped hijacking behavior and proof upgraded belief. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this: labels are levers. Pull the right ones and your micro behaviors change first, then your cues, then your belief. Pull the wrong ones and you'll collect evidence for a story you don't want. Do the surgery. Set floors and ceilings. Install proof rituals. That's how you neutralize nocebo and keep your loop moving forward. Expectation-ready environments. Design that nudges belief. Here's the quiet truth. Your space is always whispering instructions. Friction, layout, and what's visible tell your brain what's normal to start, what's tedious, and what counts. If your environment reinforces hesitation, expectancy decays no matter how strong your mindset felt at 9 a.m. So let's build spaces that default to action, not intention. 3 levers run the show: visibility, velocity, and verification. Visibility is about surfacing the right cues and hiding the wrong ones. You want proof and prompts in your line of sight, not distractions and dead ends. The thing most people miss is that organized doesn't mean useful. A perfectly tidy desk that hides your next action is worse than a messy desk with a loud, obvious starter. Start with evidence boards. Pick 1 domain, sales, study, fitness, and dedicate a small fixed surface to live numbers and artifacts. Not inspirational quotes, proof. Outreach counts, reply rate, drafts shipped, sets completed. Keep it physical if possible. Sticky notes, tally marks, screenshots printed and pinned. Why physical? It reduces the friction of checking progress and builds a persistent expectation. When you look up, you see evidence that your actions move the needle. Add scoreboards for leading indicators, not vanity metrics. Leading indicators are reps and latency, how many attempts, how fast you restart. Vanity metrics are likes, vague hours worked, or anything you can't control per session. If you study, your scoreboard is quizzes taken and accuracy trend. If you code, it's issues closed and time to first commit. You're training your attention to chase controllables. Queue clusters go next. Place your starter tools exactly where you act. If your morning writing happens at the kitchen table, put the notebook, pen, and your opener card there the night before. If outreach follows coffee, tape a 2-line script to your mug. Cluster, cue tool, tiny script, proof sheet. That stack screams, do an ugly rep now, without deliberation. Now velocity, we're shrinking the time from intention to action. First step friction kills expectancy because long ramps invite negotiation. Build 2-minute starters for your hardest task. Writing, open doc with a pre-written first line and a 5-minute timer on the same desktop. Lifting, shoes by the bed, playlist queued, first set written on a card. Outreach, prospect list pre-filtered, opener saved as a snippet, and a 120-second send rule. Pre-commit assets to remove decision load. Templates for proposals, outlines for emails, checklists for recurring work. A standardized opener means your first rep is a pull, not a push. Decision fatigue drops, and your environment becomes a conveyor belt for the first action. Reduce context switches. Group tools by mission. If your laptop screen shows 6 unrelated tabs, your velocity dies by 1,000 micro-inhibitions. Create mission desktops. Study Desktop only has textbook PDF, question bank, and timer. Outreach Desktop has CRM, email, and your follow-up script. One keystroke changes arenas, nothing else lives there. Verification is the loop closer. Without fast feedback, expectancy stalls because your brain can't see the cause and effect. Build green-red signals and weekly proof reviews. Green-red signals are binary checkpoints that tell you continue or adapt. Example, green is reply rate above 8% this week, keep opener. Red is below 5% after 40 sends, switch subject line. For fitness, green is completed 4 sessions this week, add a set. Red is missed 2 sessions, shrink to 15-minute circuits. Binary cuts rumination. Install fast feedback loops. For study, immediate self-check quizzes after each chunk. For design, quick A/B micro-tests with teammates. For writing, ship to a trusted reviewer for one-line feedback on clarity. Shorten the distance between action and signal so belief stays warm. Run weekly proof reviews, not vibe reviews. 10 minutes, same time each week. 3 columns, counts, latency, quality markers. Did reps go up? Did start times shrink? Did signal quality improve? Then 1 decision, consolidate gains or adjust 1 lever. Expectancy grows when you see proof trends, not when you journal hope. Common mistakes to avoid. Cluttered dashboards, too many widgets that don't influence behavior. Kill any metric you can't act on within 24 hours. Mixed zones, doing deep work in a distraction arena. Carve a microzone, even if it's a corner with headphones. And over-indexing on public metrics. Chasing likes trains you to please an algorithm, not your process. A quick build sequence for this week. Pick one arena. Install a visible evidence board with 2 leading indicators and 1 quality marker. Create a queue cluster. Start a tool, tiny script, proof sheet, all within reach of where you act. Pre-commit 1 asset, a template, checklist, or opener that makes the first rep automatic. Define 1 green and 1 red signal. Write the adaptation you'll make if red triggers. Schedule a 10-minute weekly proof review. Lock the time, script the prompts. Microstory, a PhD student I worked with was drowning in read more guilt. We made a study arena desktop with a single folder. Papers, highlights tool, quiz bank. Queue cluster on the desk, printed question sheet, highlighter, a 12-minute timer. Scoreboard, papers converted to 5 self-tests per week, accuracy trend on the wall. Green-red, above 70%, new topic, below 60%, 1 more loop. Within 2 weeks, avoidance dropped and output rose. Same hours, different environment, upgraded expectancy. Remember, your space teaches you how you behave. Design it to make your best behavior the path of least resistance and to show proof fast. When the room does the whispering, belief doesn't have to shout. The daily expectation operating system. You've built the environment. Now make expectancy automatic with a simple daily loop. Prime, produce, prove, debrief. 4 moves, 20 minutes of meta work total, and your behavior runs on rails. Prime sets the default before noise can set it for you. 2 minutes, spoken out loud or written. Start with 1 identity line tied to action. I'm the person who ships drafts and asks for clear next steps. Add 2 if then plans for your predictable wobbles. When I stall, I do 1 ugly rep, and when I get silence, I send the 48-hour nudge. Then choose the top 3 evidence targets for today, exact counts or seconds you'll hit that create proof, not just effort. Now here's where most people mess up. They prime feelings, not behaviors. Keep it boring on purpose. No hype, just clear lines your brain can execute. Read the lines, then immediately trigger the first 2-minute starter to lock expectation to action. That first micro-rep is your ignition. Produce is the work chunk, but we're going to run it like a machine. Use time-box deep work reps with a visible timer, then punctuate with one proactive outreach or decision before you break. Why? Outreach reinforces identity as a mover. Decisions reduce latent friction. Aim for 1 to 3 focused blocks, each with a measurable deliverable you can hold in your hand or screenshot. 1 page, 1 solved problem, 1 shipped email, 1 set. If it's not tangible, it won't feed expectancy. Inside each block, shrink deliberation with pre-commit assets. Openers and checklists live on the canvas. When you feel the stall, don't debate, fire the if, then you primed. The reason this works is simple. You're transferring control from state to script, which keeps latency low even when energy dips. Prove turns output into belief. 5 minutes right after the block, not at day's end when memory gets rosy. Log counts latency and 1 quality signal. Counts are reps or minutes completed. Latency is time to start and time to restart after an interruption. Quality is 1 marker that relates to your domain. Accuracy in a quiz, reply rate in outreach, clarity rating from a reviewer, load on the bar. Snap a quick photo or clip if relevant. This snapshotting matters. Visual proof cements expectancy faster than text. 2 tips. First, use a binary green-red marker for each block. Green if you converted hesitation within 2 minutes and hit the planned rep. Red if you didn't. Second, add 1 sentence. What made it easier? Name the friction you removed or the cue that helped. That sentence becomes tomorrow's design input. Debrief closes the loop. 10 minutes, same time daily, preferably before you shut down. 3 prompts: facts, friction, fix. Facts are numbers only, reps, latency, quality markers. Friction is the top 2 blockers you actually felt, context switches, unclear next steps, noisy room. Fix is 1 micro upgrade you'll install for tomorrow, move the cue, pre-write the opener, pick the green-red threshold, schedule a shorter block. Then write tomorrow's prime lines now. You're staging the next day's expectancy, while today's memory is hot. Now, mistakes to avoid. Journaling feelings instead of proof is the big one. Feelings matter, but they're inputs for friction, not substitutes for evidence. If you want to note emotion, tie it to a configuration. Energy crashed after meetings, move deep work to 9 a.m. Another mistake is skipping debrief when you're behind. That trains your brain that proof only happens on good days and expectancy dies. On rough days, debrief is non-negotiable.